Where did the front pages are pregnant come from? But anyway, Mr. Iwakere joins us this morning.
For too long, you learn ancient English.
Oh dear. Yeah. Jeffrey, I wasn't expecting that.
Ancestral English.
Well, Mr. Iwakere joins us as a member Nigerian Guild of Editors. Is live with us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Iwakere, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Cody and Bukola and Jeffrey, it's a pleasure.
So let's deliver, shall we? We're starting off with Vanguard newspaper. I think it's one of the biggest stories, nationally speaking. I mean, for us in Lagos, we have the fire incident. But on a national scale, the Rivers situation is the biggest story, I must say, because we're counting down till tomorrow. Hopes, mixed views as emergency ends tomorrow. Ibas asks residents to nurture peace already built. Elders sue for unity. Fubara returning as a conquered man. That's coming from a CUPP. And you see APGA's founding chairman saying governance may suffer. That's Okori, by the way. And PDP's warning Fubara against defection, demands probe of interim rule. And Tinubu returns from vacation. So all of those things packed together into one. I just want you to maybe look back with the benefit of hindsight where we're at right now in Rivers State. Do you think this is the best case scenario, that things could have maybe been worse or better? What is it for you, Mr. Carrier?
This is the best option. You know, I've listened to all the arguments and all of the postulations over time that the emergency rule was not necessary, it was illegal, unconstitutional, and all of that. Yes, if we want to go by the legalese, then lives would have been lost. Even the democratic institutions, structures, and what we will say, for example, that is some form of democracy in Rivers State would have been completely lost with the hula baloo, the crisis that engulfed the state. I listened to Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas as he delivered this something that looks like a valedictory speech. I would say, for me, in my opinion, that is the best. Yes, a lot of criticisms have trailed the emergency rule, but I think the president did well by declaring that emergency rule and, of course, appointing Ibas to as sole administrator to oversee the process. If you look at the last 6 months, between March 18 and now, yes, the 6 months rule is supposed to elapse tomorrow. But if you look at what has happened in the last 6 months from March 18, how many people have been killed in Rivers State? Have we ever heard of burning of buildings, public institutions, attacks going on? The tension in Rivers State was so much. For me, I was even worried that if it was not properly managed, we might just be reenacting the Operation Wettier, what happened in the First Republic that started somewhere in the Southwest. So I was worried. I'm from the South, and I thought that the president had a duty as commander-in-chief to step in. And he did the right thing as far as I'm concerned. For now, there is peace in the state. But whether the flip side of the argument is whether the sole administrator should have conducted local government elections and all of that, though that is a different argument completely. But with regards to peace, yes, there's not peace in Rivers State. The House of Assembly will be returning. I think will be returning. Everybody may have learned their lessons. And as Vanguard reported this morning, I think the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, will be returning to office with his tail tucked in, because he was talking tough before the emergency room. But now it will be interesting to me to listen to his first broadcast when he does take office. But for now, I think Nigerians are just watching with crossed hands, crossed fingers to see what happens in the state. Peace has returned, and we could really see that the intervention of the president was the right decision to make.
All right, let's go to the New Telegraph newspaper. New Telegraph is leading with politics. 2027, Wike on a mission to destroy PDP, not acting in APC's interest. Sage alleges, and then you have it, urges party to take action, asks FCT minister to join ruling party if he so desires, says ADC coalition recognition, sign government not undermining democratic process. What do you make of this particular headline?
Well, it's also interesting for me that Wike appears to be the proverbial tortoise who is present in every story. Wike must be very powerful, you know. Whether you are discussing PDP politics, Nyesom Wike's name will emerge. Whether it is APC, Nyesom Wike is a dominant factor. And of course, the ADC, Wike is also alleged to have a finger in the ADC. So he must be a very interesting and powerful politician. And I can't, apart from the president perhaps, maybe the FCT minister is next in line as one of the most powerful politicians we have in this country. But interestingly, she just simply tells us that Wike knows how to play the Nigerian politics, the Nigerian brand of politics. Whether it is, he's a lawyer, whether he is doing the right thing is a different argument. But for me, he's a man I admire. I live in the FCT and he's working quite hard. You know, as a lot of times I drive out of my house to the city center, you might miss your road. So it's not beyond the rhetoric, beyond all the criticisms and the personality of Wike, those who don't like him. For me, what I'm interested in as a Nigerian, and I think that most citizens, is work for the people. Let us see what you are doing beyond the rhetorics. And I think for Wike, he's putting the right pegs in the right hole, and he's working very, very well for residents of the FCT. You know, on the political side, where it's a different arguments, you know.
Well, The Guardian takes a detour from politics this morning, either it's River State or that of the center, and takes a look at a particular sector that is critical, of course, to national development, which would be the aviation sector. Listen to the headline: Insider threats, low confidence, hobble $14 billion aviation target. And it gives us an insight into you know, the high points of the story, of course, which you'll find on the inside pages, page 6 to be precise. It says the aviation sector contributes $2.5 billion to the GDP with a target of $14.1 billion, supporting over 216,700 direct and indirect jobs. In 2024, according to the NCA, 996 instances of pilferage, discourtesy, and other incidents at airports nationwide. So much to reflect on, and especially set against the backdrop of recent events in the sector that put Nigeria in perhaps not a very wholesome light on the international scene. What are your thoughts on this particular concern about the impact on the aviation target, revenue target?
Well, the aviation sector can do more to contribute to the fiscal inflow coming to the federal government. The Minister of Aviation he has his work well cut out. That's Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He's been doing quite well since he came in, but there have been a few incidents. First and foremost, where is the money coming from? The BSAs, the Bilateral Services Agreement between Nigeria and most countries, before the appointment of Festus Keyamo, had been quite topsy-turvy, to the extent that, you know, Nigeria almost became a laughingstock. The former aviation minister, Hadi Sirika, messed up the aviation sector, actually disgraced this country. He's a man that should be in prison, but I wonder why he's working free. We all know what happened, how he went to Ethiopia, arranged with Ethiopian Airlines, embellished the aircraft, painted it in green, white, green, and told Nigerians that we now have a national carrier. I mean, billions of naira, 192 or 95 billion, if I recall, went down the drain. So he's working free. And Keyamo came in, and I think he's trying to clean up the mess. Apart from the local incidences of people fighting, you know, inside the aircrafts and Kwam-1 and all of that, which try to dent the image of what, the good image of what the aviation minister has been doing over time. He's been saying the right things, signing the right agreements, and the president is also doing well. He has just also signed an agreement with, I think Keyamo was there in Brazil, and now there will now be a direct flight from Nigeria to Brazil. We are beginning to restore our national image with other countries. With the US, for example, and the UK, they insist that airpeace should be flying to Gatwick Airport instead of Heathrow, which is the main airport in the UK. And I think Keyamo is working hard on that. So for me, I think the aviation sector can do more. More money is coming in now. If we do do the right things, then I think it is a sector to look forward to contribute so much to the national coffers. For now, I think the signs are looking good.
Right. Well, Mr. Carrier, this Nigeria is next. And we know that some of these cases you mentioned are in court, and there's been no pronouncement, particularly the one with the former aviation minister. So we'll see how that plays out. He said he looks forward to sharing the story and writing a book about it. But this Nigeria leads with financial experts backing FG's plan to privatize 91 state-owned assets. Say it will boost revenues, attract investment, energize economic growth. DG BP assures national interest will be protected. This is a conversation that comes up almost during every administration. We look at all of these state-owned assets and we're like, what do we do with them? Do we privatize them? Do we continue dragging them along without being viable? But it looks like it might just happen right now, or not. Again, we've been here before. But Mr. Akaria, what do you make of this? By the way, there's a picture of President Bola Tinubu returning to the country, just to mention that. But back to the privatization plan. To do it or not to?
I think most Nigerians are not impressed with governments when they talk about privatization. Now, what is the purpose of government itself? The Constitution is very clear. That is for the security and welfare of citizens. So if you privatize everything, so how will government attend to the needs of Nigerians? The power sector has been privatized. We don't have a national airline. We don't have a national shipping line. We don't have anything that Nigerians can point to as, as a national service that they directly benefit from. Even from the huge oil and gas resources that we have in the country, we have the NNPC that is, well, I would say partially privatized now, and that is not delivering quality services to Nigerians. It is being balkanized through the PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act. There was a lot of optimism and hope that once the PIA comes into effect, there will be benefits. So most Nigerians this morning will not be enamored, will not be impressed that the government is privatizing. Usually the privatization processes, from 1999, when we returned to democracy up until now, has been shrouded in a whole lot of secrecy, opaqueness. There's no transparency, there's no accountability. That is why most Nigerians are not impressed when government talks about privatization. So it's a two-way traffic thing. First and foremost, if you privatize, cronies of government gets to buy off these public assets, and nobody is accountable to Nigerians. And on the other side, Nigerians, we are being robbed of access to what can be subsidized services coming from government. So everybody is made to pay for everything. You dig your borehole, you provide your water, provide your electricity, either you get a solar or generator, and then you provide your security. Well, maybe government will be looking at privatizing even the air that we breathe. Maybe that's the next phase. But for me, I think most countries, even China, why is China doing well? China has state corporations and institutions that attend to the needs of not only the Chinese citizens, but they have been able to foray into the global scene. That is because of subvention, subsidization, and support of government, running government-owned institutions. So we should be running a pseudo-social system where citizens should have some benefit. But if you sell off and privatize everything, then that is, we are moving deeper into core capitalism, which Nigeria, I think, is not ready for at this time.
There you have it. The coming days will tell how the government will approach all of this. But I think we're clear what they want to do with the refineries. I think it's been said what they want to do with the refineries. Whether or not we'll go through is another thing entirely. But Mr. Carrier, we have to thank you so much for your time on the program today and for your insights. They've been quite instructive. Mr. Ayo Carrier, member of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, joining us live from our Abuja studio. Thank you again.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.